So what my thing is, we need to teach the American public, especially in the low-income communities, how to be citizen scientists. Here's the program. This environmental organization came in and worked with me, and they got a contract from EJ, from environmental, from EPA, and it was to go into 2 high schools and teach those high school students how to scientifically test water. And I got all the pictures of that. I mean, they out at the lakes, they out at the rivers, they got the test tubes. I got the little brothers and Hispanics out there with their hoodies on, and I mean, it's a sight. I'll send you some, yo. I'm gonna send you some of the pictures so you can see them. Yeah. Man, it's a sight to see them little brothers down there, and they teaching them how to find the animals that's in the water. They down there picking up leeches and all kind of stuff, but they learning. Now, the first group that we did, in turn, we hired 10 of them. And they went in that second semester and taught a 2-hour, once a week after school program to elementary school kids, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and taught them to do exactly the same thing. I got pictures of these little 3rd graders out there down there with the test tubes and stuff, testing the water. That was the first time. The second time around, we did this. We're in it right now, in fact. We did the same thing with the high school students, hired 14, but this time we had them come to an NAACP meeting, and they taught my NAACP members how to scientifically test water, along with other volunteers that showed up. Then, that next week, those NAACP volunteers and other volunteers went into a middle school and taught 7th graders what they had learned from those high school students. Right. Those high school students were so sharp, brother, you would think that we shouldn't have a problem going on in our inner city if you could have seen how masterfully they learned that and how good it felt teaching that to that older population.
So, Richard, let me ask you this. I want to extrapolate what you're doing to a broader conversation, because what you're doing is fascinating, and you're like, when we say boots on the ground, you're there. You're down there doing the work that most people are only on YouTube talking about at night, right? But you're out there doing it. There is this disconnect in not just the black community, but in the broader conversation around the nation that kind of puts the environment secondary. Yes. And when a matter of fact, Bernie Sanders, when he was talking about issues in the country as a whole, and then he's talking about the black community, he referenced the environment as being a threat to national security, global warming being a threat to national security, just elevating it to a level of significance that I think that it sounds like you see that same level of significance. My question would be to you then, is that as this conversation is going on a national level, where do you connect? What do we do? What do we actually do to make people understand that the environment is an issue that's pertinent not only to the black community, which I think if you ask people from the black community what's on the top of their list, it won't be the environment, but in a lot of ways, you're saying that it needs to be one of our first considerations, and not just the black community, poor communities, Hispanic, every community. How do we put it in its right place?
God's going to do it. Hear me when I say that. God is going to do it, because man is destroying this planet. That's the one thing David Corton talked about in his book. If man stopped all of his degradation today and did everything right as far as the protecting of this planet, it's already too late.
I read that. That was what's the name of that book again? I read that one.
The Great Turning is the book I'm talking about. And I'm gonna talk about Van Jones, because I'm a student of Van Jones back before he got where he is now. Now he's on the same line as you were talking about earlier with Steve Harvey. Now they are entertainers, and that's a different ball game. I like that in you, brother, because I feel the same way. That's what I'm dealing with, is entertainers. That whole charade that's going on up there in Flint is not how I would even begin. I love your comment about me being boots on the ground, because right now the system says that grassroots they think stops at the high school. In high school, we got 98% of our teachers are white inside the inner city. Okay, I got things about Baltimore too. I got something for you up there. I heard that y'all might be where you are, so I got something for you. But I told you I did my homework now. So when I go and make the reason I said that about God, and I know that doesn't sit well with everybody, but I'm still part of that old school. And he's coming back in my life now more than it ever was before, because I'm thinking I'm understanding more now that I can say this. That collapse is coming, but they don't. It's not going to destroy this planet. It's going to destroy a way of life. Wall Street already almost went out when Obama went in, right when he was going in, and they on their way back there again. It's not. They just still doing the same thing again. It's not changing. So what the deal is, we're supposed to be in the position of educating the future generation of how to rebuild this. See, that Pope over there was in that third world country when they was down there in Rio de Janeiro. There's no doubt in my mind, if he wasn't at that meeting, he had somebody at that meeting that came back over there and told them what they need to do. Our third world countries, whether people realize it or not, are a long ways ahead of us. They got them folks over there growing food, creating irrigation where they didn't have it before, and all kind of stuff to create survival for themselves. And we headed in that direction, if you hear what I'm saying. And we may not want to face that fact, but we're heading in that direction. So a lot of what people need to hear, because we live in the doomsday kind of world, society, mentality. If it don't blow up, we don't deal with it. When it blows up, we there. We there. When 9/11 happened, you couldn't even find a seat in the church. They realized it wasn't going to happen again after about 6 months, and then the church is emptied out again. So when something bad happens, people react just like they're doing in Flint. But my presentations now start with Sprint. I don't care what it is I'm talking about, because I'm trying to make people understand you got to educate yourself. Because I'd ask you this question or anybody: how many glasses of water would you have let your child or your grandchild drink before you would have said, "Hey, maybe no, we're not drinking this water"?
None. I mean,
that's what everybody says. That the next I asked them, how many baths would you have ran for your child or your grandchild and put them in that damn water looking like rust before you would have said something?
Not a single one.
Then I go, and I want you to understand, they did it for 2 years, almost 2 years in Flint. Almost 2 years. Parents, grandparents, the mayor. I know we got a political issue, go up there and fight them. I don't care, do all that. But my concern is the education of the individual. This is a beautiful time to teach individual responsibility.
Say that.
Using that incident up there in Flint as a foundation.
Yeah.
Am I clap?
Yeah, I was clapping. I use my claps instead of saying amen. I clap on that.
I appreciate you. No, that's the way it's going to become a factor.
Richard, you've given us a lot, and you've said we've got to stay in touch. Number one, because you bring a beautiful intersection that I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't even know really existed in a substantive way, and you represent that intersection between environmental action and community action. And I love your spirit, man. Your willingness to you're so inclusive in your approach. So I want to stay in touch with you. But just real quick, tell us, if someone was interested in supporting the work that you do, where could they find you, and how could they support you?
I love that, because nobody pays me for doing what I do. Believe me, they don't. So I'd appreciate that. But I'll have you go. I would have them go to my email address, if that would be appropriate. Okay. I think you showed them my website as far as on the advertisement for the program. But if they really want to get in touch with me, I'd have them direct their comments to mine. That's Mabion.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding
me. You there?
We lost you there.
You there?
We're here.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, you there?
That's some bad timing. Go ahead and give me your email address again.
Okay, it's small r Mabion, small m Mabion at sbcglobal.net.
That's rmabion at sbcglobal.net. All right, we're going to spread the word about what you're doing, because it's an approach that most people aren't willing to take. But what we're doing at the Progressive Army is we're starting on the local level. We're starting on the
Yeah.
ground level, because if it's glamorous on the national level, right? It's all glitz and glamour, but where the real work happens is with people like you and what you're doing. So, Richard,
Before you let me go, I have two things to say. Okay.
go.
One, two, and then I'll be through. Just real quick. In that same book I was telling you about, David.